back to my channel Code Fusion Hub. So as we all saw about the last video that was about type assertions, we are moving on to a new video that is going to be upon type functions and parameters. In case if you haven't watched my previous video, I'll give you the link in the description box. You can check it out from there. And if you are a new user, make sure you subscribe to my channel so that you never miss any update from my upcoming playlist. So without wasting any time, let's start with our today's video that is about type functions and parameters. Now, what do you mean by function types? Okay, what do you state when you talk about a function type? Now, in TypeScript, functions can have their own types. A function type is defined by its parameters, its return type. This helps in ensuring that the function is called with the correct arguments. Talking about the syntax, if we talk about what is the syntax of the same, the syntax lies upon we have this type. Okay, we are giving the type function type, let's say, over here, into which we are going to pass certain parameters. So the parameters is going to be, let's say, param1, okay, which is of type 1, maybe a number or maybe a string or somewhat like that. Let's take another parameter over here that is going to be of maybe another type over here, and we are going to call an arrow function, which is going to state further the return type over here. Okay, so this is going to be the syntax for the function types that we are going to use in TypeScript. Now let's have a look at the example for the same. Now we have, let's say, a type add. Okay, and we are passing two parameters. Let's say a is going to be a number, and let's say another we have b, and let's say this is also a number, and the function is going to return us a number again. So we have wrote our syntax accordingly. So we have to implement this function. Now, how do we implement this function? We'll add a const variable that says that this value is going to be fixed and it's not going to be changed further. So I am taking a variable over here, and into this I am calling this function with arguments a and b, the parameters that we are passing into a arrow function that states that I am going to return a plus b over here. Okay, so I am going to return the sum of the two parameters that are passed into my function, and it is going to return me a number only. So whenever we have to call this function, what we'll do is we can write for the console log over here, and we can just go and call this method that we have written, the function that we have written, and we have to pass two arguments. Let's say 2 and 3 are the two numbers that we are going to pass over here. Okay, and in the output it will give us the value as 5. It is going to add these two numbers over here. So this is a function type where we are defining the parameters and the return type, and everything is predefined. That helps ensuring the function that it is called with correct arguments of correct types over here. Next, we have some optional parameters and as well as default parameters as well. Now, what do you mean by optional parameters and default parameters into any function? Optional parameters are nothing that may or may not be provided. If it is provided, it's okay. If it is not, then is also fine. Okay, it doesn't cause you an error. And what do you mean about default parameters? So the parameters that have a default value, if no value is passed, the default value is always being set over there. So we have this optional parameter and this also over here. So here, let's take this example only over here. What we'll do in optional parameters, okay, talking about, let's say, optional, we'll keep separate, and for default, we'll keep it as a separate value only over here altogether. Okay, and I'll just write optional over here. Yes, so we don't have the same variables assigned to this. Now what I'm going to say, that if I pass A or if I pass B, both of them should be present is compulsory or not, I'll state that over here. So if I am saying that you don't have to pass B, okay, it's okay if you don't pass B. So it will state that if the B value is not present, then also it would not result in any error over here. Okay, but here what if I, so this is about optional parameter, okay, where you can specify that whether this value needs to be provided compulsory or not. Next is going to be the default parameters. So where you are going to pass the default values. Okay, so let's say we have a variable over here into which I am going to pass this, that x is my number over here. Okay, and now I'm going to take another variable that is nothing but y. Okay, and I am assigning that this y has the default value as 1. Okay, y has a default value of 1 over here. I am passing an arrow function over here, and to which I am going to return, let's say x into y. Okay, so this is what I am going to return over here. So it states that if I don't pass any value over here, okay, so if I don't pass any value, let's say I'll just, if I put the log over here and I say let's multiply 5, okay, I'll just say 5. 5 goes to the variable x, but I am not providing anything for y, but it will take the value as y and will give the output as 5 over here. Okay, because it is going to take the default value as 1 over here, and the x value is present over here. If I don't give this value also, it will cause an error that you have to provide me expected 1 to 2 arguments but got 0. Okay, so we have to provide at least this value for the x, and the default value is always going to stay whether you pass it or not. So this was all about our today's video about functions, parameters. In the further playlist, we'll more look upon to what are functions and parameters and how do they work and function as well. And if you have any doubts, you can let me know in the comment section below. And if you like the video, please do hit the like button and share it with all your friends and colleagues too. Make sure you have subscribed to my channel so that you never miss any update from my upcoming playlist. I'll see you guys in the next lecture. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.